Right, so this is Rory Mcilroy on the first tier of the PGA Championship last year at Wentworth. Okay, wonderfully filmed by one of my lessons. Okay, just obviously in the crowd that day. And we're just going to identify a few points as to why he's such an amazing driver of the golf ball. Okay, so we'll have a look at his setup to start. So notice our ball position in line the left here. Obviously the camera's a little bit forward, so you can see these. You can still see these positions pretty clearly. Okay, and in terms of his upper body, you'll notice how his upper body just sits back from his lower half. And what I mean by that is notice how if we draw a line through his belt buckle up through the middle of his chest, you'll notice how he's got a slight tilt to the right-hand side. So his head sits behind the golf ball, which is absolutely perfect in terms of setting up for a driver. Obviously, you want the bottom out point just to be just before the ball because we're going to swing it on the up and we're going to try and get some up strike on this driver. Okay, so he's perfectly set up to create that position at impact. Okay, and now we're just going to work his club away. Okay, so notice as we take the club away, notice how low the driver head is from the ground. Okay, so notice how shallow and how low he's taken it away. The left arm is as extended as you could possibly get it. And you'll notice as we take this club away further into the backswing, just the amount of width that he's able to create. Okay, so that left arm fully extended. And this left shoulder is almost starting to get towards his right heel already, and he's only halfway up into the backswing. So we're going to continue to work it up, and now we're just before the top of his backswing. His left shoulder has got to that point where it's inside his right heel. He's fully loaded into his right hand side, and he's going to continue to coil these shoulders just beyond sort of 130, 135 degrees at the top of his swing. Okay, and as we just take it back a little bit before he makes his transition, you'll notice that when he's swinging up into his backswing, you'll notice his weight shift and his weight distribution in terms of his feet are almost coming off the ground there. So notice how he's almost lifting up into the top of his backswing to try and create as much distance away from the golf ball as possible. Okay, so now as we start to work down, notice how he's going to get this dramatic shift into the ground. He's going to have that lowering, his knee flexing, he's really squatting down as he starts the downswing. Okay, and so you'll notice here how as he starts to work down, you'll notice how he continues to squat and his hips will start to work towards the target here, but he manages fantastically well to keep those shoulders still pointing right. So he's still pretty much got a 180 degree there of rotation, even though he's starting to put pressure into his feet, into his hips, and he's starting to turn those hips towards the target. So now, even if we continue into the downswing, I'll just take that line away. So continue on the way down and notice how he still manages to keep an amazing amount of width on his downswing. So notice how that left hand is still miles away from the middle of his chest. Okay, and still notice how he hasn't quite shifted all of his weight onto his left hand side yet. So he's just working on maintaining as much width as he possibly can. And then as we work it even further down, notice how we get it into this position here where his club head again is still super shallow. Okay, so he's still going to hit this with a super shallow attack angle, and he's going to try and get it bottoming out just before the ball so he can hit this on the up strike. Okay, so we'll notice he gets into this position here. You'll notice that he's got a little bit of tilt behind the ball still. His head position is still behind the ball. He's almost recreated that position at impact as he did at address, which all fantastic players tend to do. So notice how he's created that position with his spine tilt. He's rotated massive amounts throughout his swing, but he's managed to keep that position. Then as he works into the finish, again, huge extension through the impact area. So you'll notice again how, his club head is over here. Shallow again, super width with the arms. And then he'll swing through into an amazing finish again. Great extension, and then all the way around the back of his head. So super motion, amazing for driving. And obviously that's why he's renowned as being the best driver of the golf ball ever. That's in my opinion anyway.